For centuries, there's been one name that's captivated treasure hunters, explorers, and, well, pretty much anyone who dreams big: El Dorado. It's a story packed with unimaginable riches, a deadly obsession, and a mystery that's somehow lasted for 500 years. So let's get into it. Let's dive into one of history's greatest and most elusive treasure hunts. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. Paved streets made of solid gold, buildings that shimmer with jewels, a fortune so huge it could literally change the world. This is the promise, the dream, that has lured thousands of people to their doom and completely fascinated millions more. It's the one question that has fueled this epic, legendary quest. And look, this wasn't some casual weekend search. No way. We're talking about a full-blown global obsession. People raised armies, they spent entire fortunes, and so many lives were lost, all chasing this one glittering prize supposedly hidden deep in the jungles of South America. But here's the real question. Was any of it ever actually real? Okay, to find the answer, we have to rewind. We've got to go all the way back to the beginning. Because, and this is the crazy part, the truth behind El Dorado, it isn't about a city at all. It's actually about a man, a ritual, and one spectacular misunderstanding. You know, the first clue is right there in the name itself, El Dorado. It literally translates to the Golden One. And that's because the original legend wasn't about a place. Not at all. It was about a person, a king who was the star of this really incredible ceremony. So the Muisca people from what is now modern-day Colombia had this really sacred tradition. Whenever a new chief took power, they'd cover his entire body in a sticky resin and then coat him, head to toe, in pure gold dust. Then they'd take him out on a raft to the middle of Lake Guatavita, where he would dive in, washing all the gold off as an offering to the gods, all while his people threw priceless jewels into the water. He was, quite literally, the Golden One. Now, this deeply personal, local ritual was never meant for the outside world. But when the Spanish conquistadors showed up in the 16th century, well, everything changed. The story they heard started to twist and morph into something much, much bigger and a whole lot more dangerous. And this right here, this is where the legend just explodes. The Spanish were driven by this absolutely insatiable hunger for gold. So when they heard the story of the Golden One, it was like a game of telephone gone wild. A mix of bad translations and just pure wishful thinking turned the story of a golden man diving into a lake into a golden king who ruled over an entire city made of gold. And just like that, the obsession was born. It's pretty wild when you see it laid out like this. You can see the whole evolution of the myth right here. It starts off as a very real, very local ceremony. Then, boom, around 1535, rumor takes over. For the next few hundred years, that rumor fuels one deadly expedition after another. And the most incredible part, even with all our modern tech, the hunt is still on today. So what did this crazy quest for a city that didn't exist actually look like? Well, to put it mildly, it was brutal. The hunt for El Dorado became one of the most tragic and dangerous treasure hunts in all of human history. You had explorers like Sir Walter Raleigh and Francisco Pizarro, and they gambled everything. They were dreaming of gold, riches, glory. But the reality they found, it was a complete nightmare. We're talking impenetrable jungles, starvation, horrific diseases, and almost certain failure. The jungle wasn't about to give up its secrets, especially a secret it never even had. I mean, really try to picture it. These men are hacking their way through completely uncharted Amazonian jungle, fighting off predators, suffering from all sorts of tropical diseases, and just watching their friends disappear one by one. So many of these expeditions just vanished, without a trace. And the few who did make it back, they came back broken, empty-handed, but with these wild stories that, of course, only fueled the next doomed voyage. Now, you'd think that after centuries of total failure, and after we figured out the story's real origin, the search would just stop, right? But nope. The pull of El Dorado, the allure of it, it's just too strong. The mystery is still very much alive. And this part is just so fascinating to me. We've swapped out these old, unreliable maps for things like high-res satellite scans and ground-penetrating radar. We have technology the conquistadors couldn't even have dreamed of. And yet, the result is exactly the same. Unsuccessful. The legend just keeps going, completely unsolved. So this kind of brings us to a really powerful thought. We've been looking at this whole thing as a physical search for a physical place. But maybe we've been asking the wrong question this whole time. What if the whole point of El Dorado isn't about finding it? It really makes you wonder. Maybe the hunt for El Dorado has been distracting us from the real treasure, the one that's been hiding in plain sight all along. A treasure that's not buried in some jungle, but one that lives on in our imagination. And there it is. That's the ultimate twist in the tale of El Dorado. The Muisca people, they had their gold. The Spanish chased their vision of gold. But what we're left with, it's something way more lasting, a legendary story. The power of this story is just immense. It's fueled real-life exploration, it's inspired countless books and movies, and it's sparked this incredible sense of wonder and curiosity about our world. The story of El Dorado is its own kind of gold, a cultural treasure that has made us richer for half a millennium. And so that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. Chasing El Dorado caused so much suffering, but it also lit up the human spirit of adventure. It makes you wonder about the myths that we chase today. Which mysteries are actually worth solving, and which ones are maybe more valuable if we just leave them as legends, forever just out of our reach?